The city of Seoul glittered below as Lindai walked along the rooftop garden again, her heels clicking softly against the smooth stones. The night was warm, with a gentle breeze carrying the scent of flowers. She glanced at her phone for the 10th time. No message from Jin-woo yet, and couldn't help the small frown on her face. He had been silent all day, unusually so, and her mind raced with curiosity, anticipation, and something she refused to name. Longing. Then, a soft whisper behind her made her jump. "Always thinking, aren't you?" She spun around to find him standing there, tall and calm, his black leather jacket catching the soft glow of the rooftop lights. His dark eyes glittered with amusement and something softer. Concern, maybe, or desire. I wasn't, she stammered, though her cheeks flushed. "I was just enjoying the night." He stepped closer, the distance shrinking in a heartbeat. "The night is better shared," he murmured. His hand brushed hers lightly, sending a familiar jolt of electricity through her. Especially with someone worth sharing it with. Her heart thumped painfully. She wanted to pull away, to remind herself of the caution she had learned to cling to, but every instinct in her body urged her closer. He led her to the center of the garden where a small table had been set up with candles, wine, and a tiny plate of her favorite desserts. "Jin-woo, this is unexpected," she whispered, eyes wide. "Not really," he said, smirking. "I notice the little things. Your favorite foods, your laugh, the way you tilt your head when you're curious. I remember them." Her chest tightened. Few people ever noticed her in such detail. And yet, he seemed to see all of her, the real her, with none of the judgment or distance she was used to. She reached for her wine, fingers brushing his, and felt a shiver race up her spine. "You're intense," she murmured. "I only show it to those worth it," he replied, leaning close. His voice was low, teasing, and it made her stomach twist deliciously. They laughed and talked for hours, the cityscape stretching endlessly around them. Every now and then, Jinwoo's hand would brush hers, fingers grazing lightly, just enough to make her heart leap. He asked her about her dreams, her fears, the little things that made her smile, the moments that had broken her heart in the past. She confessed softly about the men who had used her. Rich, careless, selfish men who had thought she was just an exotic fling. Her voice trembled slightly when she spoke about the one she had loved and lost, the man whose absence still lingered in her chest. He listened silently, never interrupting, never judging. Then, when she finished, he took her hand gently and pressed a soft kiss to her knuckles. "You deserved better than any of them," he said softly, "and I'll never let anyone hurt you like that again." Her heart ached with longing, gratitude, and something more powerful, desire. Desire for this man who was simultaneously gentle, commanding, and dangerously intoxicating. As the night deepened, the candles flickered softly, casting golden light across their faces. Jin-woo leaned closer, his breath brushing her ear. "I want you to know something," he murmured, voice low, almost a growl. "I don't do this. Not often. Let anyone close. That is. But with you, I can't help it. You've captured something in me I didn't know existed." Her chest tightened. She wanted to reach for him, to confess the feelings that had been growing like wildfire in her chest. "I feel the same," she whispered. He smiled faintly, a dark, dangerous smile that made her pulse race. "Good," he said softly, "because I have no intention of letting you go." The wind shifted, carrying a faint whisper of danger. Lindai noticed the subtle tension in his body, a reminder that his world was never far away. "Your world," she murmured hesitantly. "It's complicated, isn't it?" He nodded, eyes darkening slightly. "It is. Dangerous, unforgiving, and sometimes I can't protect you from everything, but I will protect you from the things I can. And I'll be there always." Her heart thudded painfully. The danger made her pulse race, but the protection, the trust, the intimacy, it made her feel more alive than ever. Then he did something unexpected. He pulled out a small velvet box and handed it to her. Lindai blinked. "Jin-woo, what is this?" "Open it," he said softly. Inside was a delicate bracelet, silver with tiny intertwined moons. a reflection of the moonlit rooftop where they had first shared quiet moments together. It's beautiful, she whispered, running her fingers over it. I noticed how you admire the little things, he murmured. This is a promise, a reminder that I'm here, that this, whatever this is real. Tears pricked at her eyes. She felt exposed and cherished all at once, a whirlwind of emotions that left her breathless. He reached for her hand again, this time holding it against his chest. She could feel the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, strong and controlled, yet undeniably human. You feel that? He whispered. That's me letting you in, slowly but completely. I've never done this before. Her chest ached with longing. I want to be here, she whispered, with you, even if it's dangerous. He leaned close, forehead resting against hers. Nothing about you is dangerous. You make me better, stronger, more human, and I can't imagine my world without you in it. Her lips parted slightly, breath-catching, and he kissed her softly, tenderly. It was not the hurried, fiery kiss of passion, but one filled with care, intimacy, and unspoken promises. Hours passed like minutes. They talked, laughed, and shared quiet touches that made Lindao's pulse race uncontrollably. Every moment with him was a dance of desire and tenderness, trust and longing. At one point, he took her hand and guided her to the edge of the rooftop, overlooking the city. Do you see it? He murmured. All of this? My world. Chaotic as it may be, beautiful when you notice it. She leaned against him, head resting on his shoulder. It's breathtaking, she whispered, but not as breathtaking as you. He chuckled softly, pressing a kiss to her temple. Flattery will get you everywhere, he teased, though his eyes held something deeper, admiration, desire, and affection all wrapped together. As midnight approached, the air grew colder, and the first hint of rain returned. Jinwoo draped his jacket over her shoulders again, holding her close. You're impossible to resist, he murmured, voice low and husky. Every moment I spend with you, I want more. More laughter, more closeness, more, she asked, breathless. He smiled faintly, brushing her hair back. More of us, more time, more trust, more everything. Her heart raced. She wanted to tell him the same, to confess the storm of emotions inside her, but words failed her. Instead, she let herself lean into him, savoring the warmth, the intimacy, and the thrill of being with someone who made her feel alive in ways she had never imagined. The night ended with them standing side by side, watching the city glow beneath them, wrapped in quiet intimacy and unspoken promises. Lindai realized something terrifying and exhilarating. She was falling, fully and completely, for a man whose world was dangerous, mysterious, and intoxicating. And she didn't care, because for the first time in her life, she felt truly alive. The city of Seoul glimmered beneath the night sky, each light a tiny spark in the dark sea of buildings. Lindai stepped onto her balcony, the cool breeze brushing her face, but her thoughts were nowhere near the skyline. Her mind was consumed by Jinwoo, the way he had looked at her earlier that night, the way his fingers lingered on hers, the way his voice had sounded when he whispered promises she didn't dare fully believe. Her phone buzzed softly. Come outside. Now. No signature, no name, just a message. But she didn't hesitate. Her pulse raced as she grabbed her jacket and stepped into the night. At the street corner, a sleek black Porsche idled, its lights cutting through the darkness. Jinwoo leaned casually against the car, rain glistening on the hood, tattoos peeking through the collar of his shirt. The moment she saw him, her heart skipped a beat. You're punctual tonight, he teased, voice low and warm. I had to be, she murmured, voice trembling slightly. Her heart was already thundering in anticipation. He stepped closer, hand brushing hers lightly. Good. I like it when you're eager. It makes me happy. Her cheeks warmed. Happy? She asked, a teasing note in her voice despite the tension in her chest. Yes, he said softly, eyes darkening with desire. You have a way of making the world better. Even mine. Her pulse quickened. She had never felt seen, truly seen in her life. Not like this. He opened the car door for her, and she slid into the leather seat, heart pounding. The interior smelled faintly of cedar and leather, warm and comforting in a way that made her feel safe. "Where are we going?" she asked, voice soft, curious. "You'll see," he replied, starting the engine. The smooth purr of the car echoed like a promise, like the rhythm of their growing intimacy. As they drove through the rain-slicked streets, Seoul became a blur of neon, reflections dancing across the windshield. Lin Dao's mind drifted to the closeness they shared earlier, the way he had held her, the way she had felt his heartbeat against hers. They arrived at a secluded hilltop overlooking the city. The rain had stopped, leaving a fresh, earthy scent in the air. Jinwoo led her to a small gazebo, decorated with soft lights and cushions. "I wanted you to see this," he murmured, voice soft. "A quiet place, just for us, away from everything else." Her heart swelled. He always seemed to anticipate her thoughts, her desires, her needs, before she even knew them herself. "It's perfect," she whispered, her eyes wide. "Not as perfect as you," he murmured, stepping closer. His hand brushed hers, sending a jolt through her body. They sat together, shoulders touching, fingers intertwined. The silence between them was comfortable, charged with tension and anticipation. "You're different from anyone I've ever met," Jinwoo said softly. "You've changed something in me, something I didn't know existed." Her chest tightened. "And you've changed me," she whispered. "You make me feel alive, safe, wanted, desired, all at once." He smiled faintly, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. "Good," he murmured, "because I never want you to feel otherwise." Her pulse raced. She had never been this close to anyone, never felt such intensity, such tenderness, such raw desire. The night deepened, and they grew bolder in their touches. A hand brushing her arm, a gentle squeeze of her fingers, a whispered word that made her heart leap. "You're impossible to resist," he murmured, voice husky. "Every time I see you, every time you smile, laugh, or even look at me, I want more. I need more." She shivered. "More," she whispered, breathless. "Everything," he said softly. "More laughter, more closeness, more trust, more us." Her chest tightened. Desire and longing coiled inside her, a thrilling mixture of fear and excitement. She wanted to give in completely, to trust him fully, but the edges of his world, the danger, the shadows, the unknown, whispered caution. He leaned closer, brushing her lips lightly with his, not demanding, not urgent, but tender and electric all at once. Her eyes fluttered closed. The kiss was a promise, a whisper of what could be, a spark igniting a fire that had been smoldering in her chest for weeks. Jinwoo," she whispered, breathless, fingers tracing the line of his jaw. "Shoo," he murmured, forehead resting against hers. No words, just us, just this moment. She let herself melt against him, heart pounding, body aching with the desire he awakened. Every touch, every look, every whisper made her feel cherished, wanted, and alive. Hours passed like minutes. The city stretched endlessly below them, a quiet world of lights and shadows. Jinwoo held her close, hands brushing her hair, fingers tracing gentle patterns along her arms. "I don't usually let anyone in," he murmured. "Not like this, but with you, I can't stop. You've captured something in me I didn't even know existed." Her chest ached. "I feel the same," she whispered. "I've never felt like this before." He smiled, brushing a soft kiss against her temple. "Good," he murmured, "because I have no intention of letting you go. Ever." The night ended with them lying side by side under the soft glow of the gazebo lights, rain-damp hair sticking to their faces, hearts beating in sync. Lindai realized something terrifying and exhilarating. She was falling completely, utterly, and without reservation. And she didn't care, because for the first time in her life, she felt truly alive. Seoul shimmered beneath the early morning haze, the city slowly awakening while Lindio sat on her balcony, the soft glow of dawn illuminating her face. She sipped her tea, but her thoughts were far from calm. Jinwoo had left the night before, after another long evening of whispered promises and tender kisses. His presence lingered like a scent, filling the empty spaces of her apartment. She touched the bracelet he had given her, delicate, silver, intertwined moons, and smiled softly. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was a promise. A reminder that in a world full of danger and shadows, there was someone who saw her, cherished her, and wanted her by his side. Her phone buzzed softly. A message. From him. Meet me tonight. I have something to show you. Her heart skipped a beat. Her fingers trembled as she typed a quick reply. I'll be there. She had no idea what awaited her, but anticipation mingled with excitement in a way she had never felt before. The evening arrived, cool and crisp, with a breeze carrying the faint scent of rain and the city's energy. Lindio stepped into the street, the Porsche waiting silently at the curb. Jinwoo leaned against it, dark eyes scanning her as she approached, tattoos subtly peeking from under his collar. You came, he murmured, voice low and teasing, sending a shiver down her spine. Of course, she whispered. I wouldn't miss it for anything. He smiled faintly, holding the car door for her. Good. I like it when you're eager. It suits you. The car roared to life, smooth and powerful, and they drove through the city streets, neon lights reflecting on the rain-slicked pavement. Lindio's heart raced with every turn, every glance, every moment of closeness that left her breathless. He parked at the edge of the Han River, where the water reflected the city lights like a sea of stars. The quiet was almost unreal, a stark contrast to the chaos of his usual world. Jinwoo stepped out, offering her a hand. Trust me? He asked softly. Always, she whispered, gripping his hand. He led her to a small boat tied to the dock. I wanted to show you something, he murmured. A quiet place, where we can escape everything, even if only for a few hours. The boat rocked gently as they stepped inside. Jinwoo guided her to a seat, then pushed off into the river, the city slowly fading behind them. The only sounds were the water lapping against the hull and the quiet hum of the boat beneath them. As they drifted, he reached for her hand, holding it gently in his. I've been meaning to tell you something, he said softly, voice low and intimate. About my world. About me. Her chest tightened. She had glimpsed his shadows before, the dangerous world he lived in, but she hadn't truly understood it. What about it? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. It's complicated, he admitted. Dangerous, sometimes unforgiving. And I can't promise that you'll never be scared, or that nothing will ever threaten you. Her heart thudded painfully. I don't care, she whispered. I trust you. I want to be with you, even if it's dangerous. He smiled faintly, brushing her hair back from her face. You're fearless, Lindio, he murmured. And I don't deserve someone like you, but I'll spend every day trying to be worthy of you. Her chest ached. No one had ever spoken to her like that, with honesty, vulnerability, and desire all intertwined. She wanted to lean into him, to surrender to the feelings she had fought for so long. The boat drifted under the soft glow of city lights. Jinwoo pulled her closer, his hand resting lightly on her shoulder, the other holding hers. I can't stop thinking about you, he admitted, voice low and husky. Every moment, every laugh, every glance. You've changed everything in me. Her cheeks flushed. I feel the same, she whispered. I've never felt this way before. He smiled, brushing his lips softly against her temple. Good, he murmured, because I want you completely. Not just here, not just tonight, but always. Her pulse raced. Always? She whispered, almost breathless. Always, he repeated, voice firm and sincere. And I'll fight for it, every day, every hour, every minute. Suddenly, a distant sound broke the moment. A low rumble from the city, faint but unmistakable. Jinwoo's body tensed instantly, every muscle alert, every sense sharpened. What is it? She asked, fear creeping into her voice. Nothing, he said softly, though the sharp edge in his eyes betrayed him. Just my world, my shadows. Her heart raced. She knew, even without fully understanding, that danger was never far from him. But instead of fear, she felt something else. Excitement, a thrill, desire. She pressed closer to him instinctively, feeling his warmth, his strength, his presence as a shield against whatever threatened them. They sat in silence for a while, the boat drifting under the stars, the city lights reflecting on the water like a galaxy of their own. Jinwoo's hand brushed hers, fingers tracing gentle patterns that made her heart flutter uncontrollably. "You're intoxicating," he murmured. "Every glance, every word, every laugh. It's like I'm alive for the first time." She swallowed hard. "I feel the same," she whispered, leaning closer. He smiled, brushing a soft kiss along her cheek. "Then we're unstoppable," he murmured, voice low, playful, and dangerous all at once. Her chest tightened, her pulse racing. Desire, fear, trust, and longing intertwined in a way she had never felt before. She wanted him, fully and completely, and she trusted him enough to know he would never let her fall. The night grew later, the air cooler, but neither wanted to move. Jinwoo held her close, his hand brushing her hair, his fingers tracing her arm, every touch electric. "You're mine," he whispered, voice low and husky. "And I'll protect you. I'll cherish you. I'll fight for you. Always." Her chest ached with emotion. I'm yours," she whispered, breathless. "Completely." He smiled faintly, brushing his lips softly against hers. The kiss was slow, tender, and electric, a promise of more to come. Every heartbeat, every touch, every whispered word deepened the connection between them. Hours passed like moments. They spoke of dreams, fears, and desires. Their hands intertwined, their bodies close, their hearts in sync. Jinwoo's dangerous world lingered in the background, a constant reminder of reality. But in this small bubble, nothing existed except them. She realized, with a mixture of fear and exhilaration, that she was falling completely for him. And for the first time, she didn't want to resist. She wanted all of him, the tenderness, the desire, the danger, and the love. And she knew, deep in her heart, that he wanted all of her, too. As the first hints of dawn touched the horizon, Jinwoo held her close, forehead resting against hers, eyes soft and vulnerable. "You're mine," he whispered again, "and I'll never let you go. Not to the world, not to fear, not to anyone or anything. You're mine, Lindayo." Her heart thumped painfully. "And you're mine," she whispered, voice trembling, tears brimming. He smiled, brushing a gentle kiss along her lips, and the world seemed to stop for a moment. The city, the danger, the shadows, all fading away until only the two of them remained, bound by desire, trust, and love. And in that quiet, fragile, intoxicating moment, Lindayo knew, no matter the darkness outside, no matter the dangers ahead, she had found her home. The night air was thick with anticipation as Lindayo stepped out onto her balcony, the city of Seoul glowing beneath her. Every light, every flicker of movement, felt alive, but nothing compared to the fluttering in her chest. Tonight, Jinwoo had promised something special, and she could feel it in her bones. This night would change everything. Her phone buzzed. "Wait for me downstairs. Don't open the door until I arrive." Her pulse quickened. She smoothed her dress, ran her fingers over the bracelet he had given her, and descended the stairs. The apartment felt unusually quiet, almost expectant, as if it, too, was holding its breath for what was about to happen. At the bottom of the steps, the sleek black Porsche gleamed under the streetlights. Jinwoo leaned casually against it, tattoos glinting faintly, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her knees weaken. "You came," he murmured, voice low and warm. "I wouldn't miss it," she whispered. Her heart raced, and she took a step closer, drawn to him like a magnet. He smiled faintly, extending his hand. "Good. Hold on tight tonight." She slid into the passenger seat, and the car roared to life, its engine a thrilling purr that mirrored her pulse. The streets blurred past, neon reflections painting the leather interior in flashes of color. Lindao's heart thumped, anticipation and desire tangling inside her. They drove to a secluded spot overlooking the city, a hilltop where the skyline stretched endlessly, the lights shimmering like 1,000 tiny stars. A soft mist lingered in the air, carrying the faint scent of rain and jasmine. Jinwoo guided her out of the car, his hand brushing hers lightly. "Close your eyes," he whispered. She hesitated, then obeyed, trusting him completely. "Do you trust me?" he asked softly. "Always," she whispered. When she opened her eyes, her breath caught. The hilltop had been transformed. Candles flickered along the path, soft music played from hidden speakers, and a blanket of cushions and lanterns awaited them. It was breathtaking, a hidden sanctuary for just the two of them. "Jinwoo, this is incredible," she whispered, eyes wide with wonder. He stepped closer, brushing a hand lightly along her arm. "Not as incredible as you," he murmured, voice low, almost a growl. "You deserve beauty, love, and care. And I intend to give you all three, and more." Her chest tightened. Every word, every glance, every subtle touch sent her pulse racing. She had never felt so seen, so cherished, so completely alive. They sat together on the cushions, shoulders brushing, hands intertwined. The night was quiet, intimate, charged with the electricity that always seemed to follow Jinwoo. "You've changed everything in me," he said softly. "I didn't know I could feel like this. For anyone. But you've captured me entirely." Her lips parted, breath-catching. "I feel the same," she whispered. "I've never felt like this before. Not with anyone." He leaned closer, fingers tracing her jawline, eyes locking with hers. "Then we're unstoppable," he murmured, voice husky with desire. "Together." The night deepened, and the intimacy grew. Every brush of their hands, every whispered word, every lingering look felt like a spark setting their hearts ablaze. Jinwoo leaned closer, lips brushing hers in a slow, tantalizing kiss. Lindae melted against him, heart thundering, mind spinning. "I've wanted you," he murmured against her lips. "Every moment we've spent apart. I've thought of you, imagined you, longed for this." Her chest tightened, tears pricking her eyes. I feel the same," she whispered. "You've made me feel alive, wanted, cherished, and I don't ever want this to end." He smiled, brushing a soft kiss along her forehead. "It won't end," he murmured. "Not as long as I'm breathing. Not as long as I can protect you, love you, and be with you. You're mine, Lindae, completely. And I'm yours." Her breath hitched. "Yours," she whispered, voice trembling. Hours passed in a blur of whispered promises, soft touches, and tender kisses. Jinwoo shared glimpses of his world, the shadows, the dangers, the responsibilities, but each revelation came with reassurance. He was always in control, always watching out for her, always keeping her safe. "You scare me sometimes," she admitted softly, resting her head against his chest. "Your world, it's dangerous. I can feel it, even when you try to shield me." He pressed a gentle kiss to her hair. "I know," he murmured, "but I'll never let it touch you. Not fully. You'll always be safe. With me." Her heart swelled. Safety, desire, love, all wrapped into one man who seemed impossible and yet entirely real. The night was interrupted by a distant sound. A car door slamming, footsteps echoing faintly. Jinwoo's body tensed immediately, every muscle alert. "Stay close," he murmured, voice low and protective. Lindae pressed against him instinctively, feeling his strength, his control, his unwavering protection. The threat passed as quickly as it came, leaving a lingering thrill in its wake. "You're incredible," she whispered, voice shaking slightly. "Even in danger, you make me feel safe, wanted, loved." He smiled faintly, brushing his lips softly against her temple. "That's because you are," he murmured, "and I'll spend every day proving it to you." The city slept below them, unaware of the quiet intensity unfolding on the hilltop. Jinwoo pulled her close, resting his forehead against hers. "You know," he murmured, voice low and husky, "I never thought I'd want someone like this. Someone who sees me, all of me. But you've captured my heart, my soul, my everything. Her chest ached. I feel the same, she whispered. I've never felt so completely alive, completely safe, and completely in love. He smiled faintly, brushing a soft kiss along her lips. Then we're perfect, he murmured. Not in the world's eyes, not by anyone's standards, but for us. And that's all that matters. The night ended with them lying side by side, wrapped in blankets and candlelight, hearts beating in sync. Lindai realized something terrifying and exhilarating. She was falling for him completely, utterly, and without reservation. And she didn't care, because in Jinwa's arms, in the midst of danger and shadows, she had found something she had never known before: home. Home wasn't a place. Home wasn't a building or a street. Home was a feeling, and she felt it every time he held her, every time he whispered her name, every time he promised her the world. As dawn broke over the city, Jinwoo held her close, forehead pressed to hers. You're mine, he whispered, voice thick with emotion. And I'll never let you go. Not to the world, not to fear, not to anyone or anything. You're mine, Lindai. Her chest thumped painfully. And you're mine, she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. He smiled, brushing a gentle kiss along her lips. And in that quiet, fragile, intoxicating moment, Lindai knew. No matter the darkness outside, no matter the dangers ahead, she had found her heart's home. And nothing, not shadows, not fear, not time itself, could take that away.
Hello, besties. In this story, we learned that sometimes life surprises you in the most unexpected ways. True love and happiness often come when you least expect it, and in the right person will see your worth. Cherish you and protect your heart. Trust, courage, and openness can turn heartbreak into a life full of love, passion, and fulfillment. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, and share.